Hey guys, John from SurfFX, and we're having a look at the new North Nova foil wing. Pretty excited about these. We've known about them for a while. I had a couple pre-production samples that we gave a go of, and it's really nice to see the production one, because there's quite a few things that they changed from the ones that we had to make it the full production. So you can see here, we've got two colorways. Got this nice green and then a pretty sick black. Pretty easy layout. Two windows, not too big. It's fine. You can just get a glimpse of what's coming through on the other side. You don't, if it's too big, this material does stretch a bit, and then it's also a pain in the butt to fold up because you can't fold through the window if you don't want to crease it. Now, pretty cool with these guys because this is one of the first wings where I've seen some extremely technical development stuff come through, coming more through kind of sourced from like the windsurfing sales side of things, and you can really start to see it in the bottom, the very bottom of the wing strut here. There is a big radial panel, so that distributes the load 45-degree angles to the fibers to get it the maximum stiffness. The real focus on this wing was stiffness, and with that comes a response, and also just a durability and toughness because you're using quite stiff materials. So that really lends itself to being nice and stable, so you got a good wind range, and then you don't have the draft moving around. So I'll just flip this wing around and you have a look at what's going on the inside. Okay, this is the inside of this wing, and first thing you see is a massive joint here. So what they call that? They call it the XLT joint, and really to keep it rigid, like I said. So having a large diameter tubing is a much more rigid structure, and through the connection they even use Kevlar to keep it super tight so you don't have any deviation or having flex. So pretty cool to see that coming through on this kind of setup. Again, you've got the direction of the material is all to do with the stiffness to keep it super rigid. You've got two inflate hoses on this massive strut because it just makes it a lot easier to pack it up and to set it and to blow it up. You get all the air coming in and out nice and quick. Something that my wings didn't have, but now the production ones do, is this new Y handle. So the handles on this wing in general are a multi-layer foam. You can feel it inside. Inside you've got like the very center are quite a rigid bit of foam, and then a softer foam on the outside. So you do get a nice positive grip to it. So that Y handle there, nice and long, so you can really kind of reach for it blind and find it and grab something and not just lose it. And really, particularly, I found that this kind of setup handy when you're first getting off your board. So you're coming off your knees, just standing up. You don't have to do the big reach all the way through. If you're winging, you know what I'm talking about. You got to reach way under and try to grab it. But now you can just grab here and there. And that handle there allows you to slide down as if you're sliding along, say, the boom setup, and then straight to that handle there. Nice, easy progression. Now, we really focused this wing was done, a lot of this focus was done on wave riding. So it's very balanced when you're kind of downwinding or on a wave, and that has to do with the general shape of it. It's just a nice little V through it, and it holds itself up. The front handle is not just an afterthought. It is as beefy as the rest of the handles, and you've got a big neoprene patch here. That neoprene patch is so when you are wave riding, your knuckles aren't dragging against that rougher material. So you've got a nice bit of like neoprene, so your knuckles aren't getting all torn up on that. Pretty cool. So it is definitely a feature of this, that it is set up to be held and ridden behind you, particularly in the surf. So if you're getting up that stage, this is definitely a wing to be looking at. Now, canopy shape is held up, so this center strut comes off of the canopy, and inside we've got a little membrane there to keep it there, to maintain that shape. So you get the draft locked in here. Again, keeping it rigid, keeping the power up the front, you get a lot more control of it. If it's moving around, it gets really heavy on the backhand and on the front and the back, but this, you just want it, the front, to have the power. The draft is up there, just pushing the whole rig forward in the air. Now, this little setup here, having it forward, also gives you your body a bit natural position. So when you are just generally riding, say I'm going this way, you're facing the wing. Now, if you have your front hand against the canopy, that front arm's going to be further in. If you have it, and then your backhand to sheet in is going to be even more so. So to have the setup the boom, the center strut a little bit further forward allows just your body to sit a bit more open, which is nice, and it just gets your back end so a little bit, so having the sheeting on the back, just a little bit more leverage on it, a bit more comfortable stance. Pretty nicely thought out design. So these guys have allowed for harness lines. It's not something I use myself, but a lot of guys are starting to talk about using harness lines, and you do have attachment points if you want to throw a harness line on here. This one here, this is a 5. It's fairly grunty. Again, a lot of that I think has to do because it is rigid and it keeps the pressure and draft up the front, so everything's driving forward. But it's a very, very compact setup. They're not really long tips, they're quite squared off. Now, something on the tips that they've done, durability-wise, similar to what they've done on their kites. They're all reinforced on the tips, so it's just nice and easy when you're just moving them around. It's just nice to have a bit more durable setup. So the fabric material on this is very tough. It's the same fabric that they use on their kites, and being a bit of a wave setup is nice and heavy duty, but while maintaining a very, very light wing.
I didn't get the middle bit about where your hands are. I didn't understand a word you're saying there.
Well, when you're out winging,
Yeah.
so my front hand, because that's extended, this is closer to me, okay?
Yeah.
If this was further in, say if I grab, I'm not going to want to do this, grab the hose, it's not the right position. You want to have that front hand a bit further out, so you're a bit more squared up on the setup.
Okay. Cool.
Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, it's okay. You can just leave a comment below. I'll reply to them. I always do. I read them. I know what you're saying.